Dragons Dogma 2 has a total of 10 vocations. These vocations determine your available weapons, skills, and stat progression per level. Each vocation also plays drastically different from the others and offers a completely different playstyle. But which is the best? You'll come across plenty of ogres, griffins, and drakes in Dragons Dogma 2, and let's be honest, some of these vocations definitely outperform the others when it comes to damage, survivability, and even time to kill. At the end of the day, your choice will depend on your preferred playstyle and preferences in combat, but if you're looking for the most optimal vocations that provide the best damage, survivability, and consistency, I have created the perfect list for you. These are the top 3 best vocations to use in Dragons Dogma 2. The Thief is easily one of the strongest vocations to use in Dragons Dogma 2, and this is true for several reasons. For starters, you have access to the Formless Feint weapon skill, which is undoubtedly one of the best defensive skills in the entire game. This skill will give your Thief the ability to dodge every single attack from every single enemy. I guess you could say the only downside to this skill is the fact that it drains stamina while it's active, but if you make your character small enough, maintain a light equipment load, and equip the right rings, your stamina management never really becomes a problem at all. This powerful skill is also obtainable early on in the game, which makes your entire mid to end game playthrough a walk in the park. This class is also extremely balanced, with the ability to offer strong defensive skills like Formless Feint and high damage skills like Skull Splitter, or my personal favorite, Blades of the Pyre. This is an easy skill to forget about because even though it does deal a lot of damage, it sets you on fire and can take a big chunk of your health away. Now, if you activate Formless Feint before Blades of the Pyre, you will unleash one of the strongest attacks in the game without taking any damage at all. This skill combo can easily be spammed against every single enemy in the game. It's great for AoE damage, meaning you can kill multiple targets at once as long as they're close enough, and also has a relatively fast animation which doesn't require much preparation at all either. This skill combination is going to be your best friend when you're going up against enemies like griffins, ogres, and even cyclopses who are weak against fire. Just a couple of explosions from Blades of the Pyre is all it takes to kill some of the larger bosses in the game. If you want the best skill setup for the Thief, I would use Cutting Wind, Formless Feint, Blades of the Pyre, and Skull Splitter. Cutting Wind is an advanced form of Biting Wind that adds more range and damage to your attack. This is the first skill you unlock as a Thief and is consistent enough to remain as one of your selected skills throughout the entirety of your playthrough. This skill will help you easily close gaps between you and your enemies and will help you maintain that quick momentum that you want during combat. Formless Feint is in this skill category for obvious reasons. It makes you completely immune to damage and will let you unlock your Thief's true damage potential. This is a skill that should be active at all times if you want to be efficient during combat without ever having to worry about taking damage. Blades of the Pyre engulfs your weapon in flames and unleashes a powerful AoE explosion that deals heavy damage and can take down some of the strongest enemies in the game with ease. And lastly, Skull Splitter, one of the best skills to use against larger enemies. This skill unleashes a spinning dive that slashes enemies in the process. It does more damage if you activate it at greater heights and can also be employed in mid-air. Overall, this vocation has some of the best damage rates in the game, making it almost too easy in battle. It excels in speed, damage, range, and offers incredibly powerful skills for your character. The Mystic Spearhand definitely deserves a spot on this top 3 list. With its mixture of melee and magic attacks, this vocation offers great mobility in battle by allowing you to easily dash or even teleport between enemies as you quickly deal damage to them. Similar to the Thief, this vocation also has access to an incredibly powerful defensive skill called Mirror Shield, which also applies to pawns and essentially makes you and your pawn immune to damage while active. The one downside to the Mirror Shield is the short duration and the need to keep it up constantly, but what makes this defensive skill a little bit better than Formless Feint, in my personal opinion, is the fact that you can pretty much activate any skill and attack all enemies without any interruption. Your animation will never be cancelled as long as the Mirror Shield is active, which can be incredibly useful when targeting enemy weak points, for example. Most of the Mystic Spearhand's damage capabilities come from being able to continuously combo and weave in different skills such as Wild Fury or even Dragons Dogma. Just like every other vocation in Dragons Dogma 2, the Mystic Spearhand's efficiency is fully dependent on your stamina control. Some of your most powerful skills, like Wild Fury for example, can deal a lot of damage but will cost you a lot of stamina in return. Luckily, this vocation has a skill called Ravenor's Hand, which eliminates that problem for you, and it just adds to the list yet another reason why this vocation is S tier. This skill drains an enemy's vitality and grants it to the user in the form of stamina. This means whenever you run out of stamina, you can easily drain it from enemies and get back into the fight quickly. This is very useful when you're trying to deal some big damage on bosses, for example. Now, another reason why this class is S tier is the mobility. With the Mystic Spearhand, you'll be able to easily move in and out of combat with no issues at all, teleport to enemies after hitting them with a magic bolt, and quickly dash around the map and into the sky with Dragons Dogma. Overall, the Mystic Spearhand utilizes a robust playstyle that balances powerful strikes from the spear with magical abilities. This includes catapulting through the air, levitating nearby objects, and briefly nullifying all enemy attacks with temporary barriers. I wouldn't say it's the easiest vocation to use at first, but after you understand how to control the flow of combat so you can constantly deal damage without ever being touched, you'll quickly realize just how powerful this vocation can be. The best skill combination for the Mystic Spearhand includes Dragons Dogma, Wild Fury, Magic Sparagon, and Mirror Shield. Similar to Cutting Wind on the Thief, Dragons Dogma lets you cover a lot of distance and closes gaps between you and your enemies. This powerful lunge attack is great for targeting weak points, reaching flying enemies, and even traversing the map, allowing you to access areas you might have not been able to reach before. This skill can easily be combined with your basic skills and provides an easy way to reach your targets quickly. Wild Fury is the Mystic Spearhand's Meister skill, and it's easily one of the best choices. This skill unleashes a relentless flurry of slashes and magical attacks. Additional button presses continue the onslaught by consuming stamina in the process. To be honest, Wild Fury works the best against large mobs of enemies since it can easily be chained thanks to its auto-target feature. To make the skill even stronger, you can improve the skill with 20 Worm's Life crystals at the Dragonforged NPC at the Baywayside Shrine, which basically cuts stamina consumption in half while activating your skill and during use. Magic Sparagon fires the magic stored within the Duo Spear in a high-speed blast. The amount of damage you deal is relative to the amount of stamina consumed, which means the longer you charge the skill, the more damage it will deal. Easily one of the strongest and coolest looking skills for this vocation. And lastly, your best skill, Mirror Shield. This skill creates a barrier around your character for 10 seconds and renders you completely immune to damage. You'll need to constantly reactivate this skill every 10 seconds to keep it active, but it's very simple to activate and can easily be transitioned into an attack afterwards. Overall, this vocation combines quick melee attacks with powerful magic abilities to help you control the fight, deal damage from afar, and destroy anything that gets close to you with your signature Duo Spear. The last S tier vocation on this list is the Magic Archer, one of the easiest vocations to use thanks to its auto-locking mechanics and also one of the most powerful. Magic Archers are one of the most valuable and versatile party members, with the ability to snipe flying enemies out of the sky, heal allies, and cast some devastating spells including Martyr Bolt, which decimates a wide area of enemies while sacrificing some health in the process. This class is superior to the Archer for several reasons. For starters, you won't have to rely on limited arrows to unleash your best skills. It's perfect for those who struggle with aiming accurately under pressure since every single attack locks on and follows your targets. You can also use your arrows to heal your fallen allies, and overall this class is capable of some insane damage output. Speaking of insane damage output, Martyr Bolt is capable of pretty much one-shotting every single enemy in the game. While charging Martyr's Bolt, your HP gets drained. The more HP you lose, the more damage you will deal. It's essentially a risk versus reward type of skill, but it's more than capable of downing a boss with a single cast. It's not really a skill you can use all the time, but if you feel like absolutely destroying everything in your path, I would recommend bringing an all heal elixir or a wake stone to counter the HP loss. The magic archer also has access to a wide range of elemental and status effect inducing spells which can put enemies to sleep, or even set them on fire, for example. One of the best things about this vocation is the amount of different approaches you have during combat. You can put enemies to sleep and melt their health bars with some concentrated damage. You can attack multiple enemies at once at any given time. You can apply status effects to your targets, including fire, ice, and lightning, which can be very effective depending on the enemies that you're facing. And in terms of damage, this vocation actually outperforms the sorcerer. The best skills to use with the magic archer includes Sagittate Avalanche, Recovery Arrow, Martyr's Bolt, and Blaze Fang Arrow. Sagittate Avalanche conjures and fires a multitude of magic arrows that deal heavy damage and are perfect for concentrated attacks on enemy weak points. This is one of the best skills to use when it comes to aiming for a single target, and it's an amazing ability for when you need to cause high damage quickly, since the charging time is actually pretty short. Recovery Arrow is an arrow that has the ability to revive your allies. Whenever one of your pawns falls in battle, you can quickly get them back in the fight with this skill. Very useful during endgame where the bosses hit very hard. Martyr's Bolt is by far the strongest skill that you have access to. Martyr's Bolt deals greater damage when you hold and charge it. There is a cost though. Your maximum health is drained every time you use this skill. Now, even though this skill can potentially one-shot griffins and dragons, for example, you may only get one chance to use it, but it's definitely well worth it. Blaze Fang Arrow is a great skill for AoE damage and can also be manually controlled to easily target weak points. Its strength is the amount of damage it deals and the radius it's able to cover. Due to the long-range nature of this vocation, it's relatively safe to play and is capable of destroying every enemy in the game with ease, which is why I think it deserves a spot on the S tier list. If you're looking for the most powerful vocations to use in Dragons Dogma 2, the Thief, Mystic Spearhand, and Magic Archer are going to be your best options. Although the other vocations are more than capable of dealing high damage, these 3 vocations we went over today specifically offer more perks for your character, including high damage output, incredible survivability, support for your team, and just overall consistency. I'm curious to hear what your top 3 list is, so do me a favor and leave a comment below with your top 3 list of the best vocations in Dragons Dogma 2 and why. Thank you so much for watching the video and sticking around until the end. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more Dragons Dogma 2 videos coming soon, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.